Welcome back, all you sports and gambling fans out there. Get ready for some college basketball betting today. I'm here with Jeff Grant, our very own SBR contributor, and today we're looking at that George Washington Colonials game going up against the VCU Rams. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing today, man?
It's a beautiful Tuesday here in Las Vegas, Dax, because another week of college basketball really gets going on a Tuesday night, and you find this matchup in the A-10, a conference that not many sports bettors probably focus in on, but these are two teams that I've watched very closely over the course of the season. I think there's an edge here with George Washington traveling to take on VCU.
I was about to say that we could actually be swayed by George Washington, considering that they're going to try to cover 3 consecutive games for just the second time this season. Now, with that in mind, Jeff, what do us gamblers need to do or know about the Colonials in this Atlantic 10 matchup?
Colonials are an experienced group, and they really started the season strong. They play their best basketball on a neutral or their own home floor. But George Washington really hasn't covered the spread regularly during the 2014-15 campaign, and they really had a dead spot to begin conference play after capturing the Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii over the Christmas holiday, Dax. The team wasn't the same coming back from that trip. Of course, they picked up huge victories over Colorado and winning the championship over Wichita State. This is a team that will be dancing in the 2015 NCAA tournament. They're really going to be tested here over the next 2 weeks. 5 of their next 6 games versus teams in the top 5 of the conference standings. They've really beaten up on teams in recent weeks at the lower tier of the Atlantic 10. And a couple more things you need to know about George Washington. They rank 30th nationally in scoring defense, and they lead the conference in rebounding margin.
All right, it does seem like it's going to be an interesting bet for the Colonials in this case, but it's kind of tough to go up against VCU in this spot. They've won 11 games in a row since dropping that 74-57 decision to Virginia on December the 6th. So, Jeff, do you think that the Rams could simply be a little too much for the Colonials in this evening's matchup?
I think that may be the case here. This is, of course, 2 of the hottest teams in the conference. In the preseason poll, VCU was picked 1, George Washington 2. You mentioned the 11 wins in a row. Even more impressively is the fact that VCU has won 15 consecutive home games versus conference opponents, and the Rams have had the best of the Colonials in this series, have won 6 of 7 all-time meetings, including a 92-75 victory on their home floor a season ago. In the 2 meetings at the Siegel Center against the Colonials, the Rams have outscored George Washington by an average of 22 points, scoring 176 combined points in those 2 games. I'm expecting much of the same because when you look at the Rams, they're second in the A-10 in scoring offense and 3-pointers made.
All right, Jeff, tell me something, man. 7.5 points on VCU seems a little too much. Do you think that we should risk it and, lay the points or maybe consider grabbing the points on George Washington?
Well, basically, this is probably the biggest game of the year for both of these teams, more so for VCU because you always want to protect your home court. And so you figure VCU's home court advantage is at least 6 points in this spot because they do things that George Washington doesn't do well, and they're going to create some turnovers, and George Washington is not one of the best outside shooting teams in the country. And you look at George Washington, yes, they have a great scoring defense. They're one of 14 teams that have not allowed more than 75 points on the year. But when you look at VCU, they're averaging 75.1, and the Rams have a defense of their own. Of course, they cause a lot of turnovers with their Havoc defense, and the Rams are 13-0 when holding opponents under 70 points. Why is that number significant in this matchup? Because George Washington already alluded to it, a different team when playing in a true road game, averaging just 58.6 points in that situation. So I'm going to lay the points. The favorite will become 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 meetings in the series. I'm going to go VCU minus 7.5 against George Washington.
All right, Jeff, good stuff, man. Thanks for the pick and all the insights. I hope to put a little bit more money into my pocket tonight, and we'll talk again tomorrow, man.
Thank you.
No problem. And for everyone else, make sure to check back with us tomorrow for more sports coverage and your free picks. Until then, for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns. Big money free betting contests year-round. a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.